Hi guys, welcome to the first video for our final exam review. Today we're going to go over KC1. So our first target for KC1 here is 1A. Okay, we're told to rewrite the following expressions using properties of exponent. So remember, when we have the same base, so these are all x's, what we can do is we keep x the same as the base and we add the exponent. So 1/5 plus 3/5 plus 4/5. And I'm going to take those exponents and put it in the calculator. So over here, my fraction button, I have 1/5, arrow to the right, plus fraction button, 3/5 plus fraction button 4/5. Enter, we get 8/5. So back over here, x, our base stays, our exponent is 8/5. And that's our answer. Number 2, we're rewriting, and when we have an exponent on the outside of the parentheses, we need to make it an exponent of everything on the inside. So we're going to have 100 raised to the 1/2 power. Then n to the 14th also needs to be raised to the 1/2 power. And we multiply 1/4 times 1/2. So in my calculator, I'm going to put 100 to the 1/2 power, and I'm going to write it over here, highlighted in yellow. So I put that on my calculator, 100, the arrow up, and then 1 divided by 2, that's the same thing as 1/2. Enter, I get 10. Over here, 10. And then I'm going to put just the exponent of the n in the calculator. So 14 times 1/2. So over here, 14 times fraction button 1/2. Enter, and we get 7. So this exponent, we still have n as our base. The exponent is 7. We'll highlight that there. And then that means this 10n to the 7th is our final answer. Number 2, we need to multiply all of the coefficients first. So I see 6 times 2 times 7. When we take 6 times 2 times 7, we get 84. And you can plug that in the calculator if you like. Or 6 times 2 is 12, times 7 is 84. And then we take the exponents for the m's, and we're going to combine those by adding them. So then we're going to have m, our exponents, like I highlighted, were 5/7 plus 2/7. Right, so what I'm doing, I'm highlighting those in blue there. And 5/7 plus 2/7. I'm going to go to my calculator and do that. Fraction button, 5/7, arrow over, plus 2/7, enter. And that is 1. So back over here, our base, m, that exponent is 1. And then lastly, we're going to do the same thing for the n's. So n, and I'll highlight those exponents in green. So 1/3 and 1/4. And we're going to add those. So 1/3 plus 1/4. So back to our calculator. Fraction. 1/3. Whoop. 1/3 plus fraction button 1/4, enter, 7/12. So here we have n to the 7/12 power. Everything highlighted in green. So that's 84 m to the first, n to the 7/12. That's our answer. All right, target B. Rewrite the expression involving radicals and rational exponents using properties of exponents. So we want to rewrite this radical into an exponent form. So what I need to start with, whatever I see underneath the radical, I'm going to write that in parentheses. So 10d, and the 2 is the top part of the fraction, and the 5, the root, is the bottom part of the fraction, and we're done. Number 5 is very similar, except we need to combine. We need to multiply these first. So just like we saw in number 3, we're going to add the coefficients first. Or I'm sorry, multiply the coefficients first. So 5 times 6, which is 30. And then, since we have y's as our bases, those exponents of the y we add. So 1/4 y to the 1/4 plus 3. Okay, so I go to my calculator to do that. So fraction 1/4 plus 3. Enter 13/4. This is y to the 13/4. Right, so that's just simplifying. We still need to rewrite. So the 30 stays on the outside. We write the root sign around the y. The 13, the top number of the fraction, will stay out here as the exponent. And then the denominator of the fraction, the 4, will become the root. This is our final answer. Number 6, this was very straightforward. 13 is our base, 4 is the top, so that's our, the top with our root, let's draw the square root sign, and then the 7, the denominator is our root right here. So 7 root 13 with the 7 in the 4 place there. Okay. Target C. Evaluate and determine if the solution is rational or irrational. So I'm going to put these in the calculator. 6 times square root of 6. Okay, if you put that in the calculator, square root of 6 times square root of 6, that's the same thing as square root of 36, which is just 6. And you can also just plug this in your calculator, and you would get 6. And 6 is rational. Rational means you can write it as a fraction. Nice integer can also be written as a fraction. When you have, next one for number 8, when you have radicals that you're adding, you add the coefficients in front, which is 1 and 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. And then you keep the base or that root the same thing. So I keep that as just square root 7. So 2 square root of 7 is our final answer. And then that, because it's a radical in our answer, is irrational. You need both of these in your answer. You evaluate and determine if it's rational or irrational. Number 9, put each of these in your calculator. Okay, and I'll show you how to do this first part. Back over to our calculator. So we put it exactly how we see it. So parentheses, -3, close parentheses. Put the arrow up to do an exponent. It's a fraction, so do a fraction button, and it's 12 over 2. I always arrow all the way back over to the right. I'm going to hit enter, 729. Back over here, this is 729. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to put 5 to the 1/2 in the calculator. 5 raised to the 1/2 power. Hit enter. This is not a nice whole number. It doesn't simplify very nicely, so then we're going to put it into radical form. Okay, so we're still going to have plus, but instead we're going to put it in radical form, which 5 is the base, so 5 goes underneath the radical. The 1, the top, goes as our exponent, and the denominator 2 goes as the root. And that's the same thing as just 729 plus the square root of 5. Since there's a square root or a radical in there, this is irrational. Okay, so there are the two answers for that one. Last target, D. Solve an equation involving rational exponents. And this is the target where you have our powers cheat sheet. Okay, so I'm going to be referring to that. So I need to make these bases the same. So 4 and 32. So I go over here and I look for 4 and I look for 32 on here. I see a 32 here. I see a 4 here. So I'm going to change these into bases of 2. So 4 is going to go as 2 square root 2. So back over here, I'm going to write the 4 as 2 to the second power, like from our cheat sheet, and we still have that x in the exponent. Equal the 32 on our cheat sheet. 32 was 2 to the 5th power. Whoop. So this is 2 to the 5th power. Now that our bases are the same, we just circle the exponents and write those over here. So 2x is equal to 5. To continue to solve for x, divide by 2 on both sides. So x is equal to 5 and leave your answer as a fraction. Number 11, since x is just out front, it's not in the exponent, we can just divide by that number to solve. So divide by 25 to the 1/2 power on both sides. So those will be 1 or cancel. So x is equal to, this whole thing goes into the calculator. Okay, so follow along with this, you know how to plug this in. So 250, oh, let me back up. We want a fraction because we're dividing. Well, we can do this. 256 raised to the fraction button, 1/4 power, divided by 25 raised to the 1/2 power. Enter. We get 4/5. So back over here, x is 4/5, and that's it. Okay, lastly, I'm going to go through this quickly because I only have a little bit of time left. I'm going to look on my powers cheat sheet, and I realize that 27 can be written as 3 to the 3rd power. Since this is already a base of 3, I'm going to keep it the same. So just copy it. 3 to the y over 7 minus 1 equals 3 to the 3rd. Our bases are the same, so we can just worry about the exponents. So I'm going to copy those over here. So y divided by 7 minus 1 equals 3. Add 1 to both sides. Y divided by 7 equals 4. The last step, multiply by 7. So y is equal to 28.